Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest 8-second gaming, and in today's video we are going to be talking about what to expect on January 7th when the new update to Apex does come out. It was a little weird that Respawn did reset the split without actually pushing out an update, but there are some things to kind of talk about, so let's go over them. But just quickly, if you guys are really looking to take your Apex skill to the next level, then you have to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there we have top-level coaches creating the best, most highly informative guides to make you the best player you could possibly be. We have literally hundreds of guides on the site already covering everything you need to know. We got legend guides, gun guides, VOD reviews, mentality guides, positioning guides, everything. So no matter what you struggle with or want to get better with, we have solutions for you. So click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, and start to improve today. But okay, with that out of the way, let's hop back into things. And yes, like I did mention, it is a little bit weird that Respawn did push out a split without actually changing anything to the meta, but it's not as weird as you might think it is once you actually start to think about it. The holiday season is here. People are going on break. People are taking that time off to be with their families. And if Respawn was to actually push a patch right before all of their employees were off for the holidays and something happened to break, then nobody would be around to fix it, and all of the players would have to deal with the thing that is broken until they did return. And if you guys know the Apex player base, which you should, you will know that that is not something that they would be willing to put up with. Yes, it would have been nice to have that meta change right before the holidays so that the people that are off work, off school, just have nothing going on, can grind in that new meta and maybe be a better meta, maybe be a worse meta, who knows, but that would have been nice to have. But despite how we view them, sometimes Respawn employees are humans too. They're taking time off work. They're not going to be there to fix any breaks in the game. So I'm actually glad that Respawn didn't push anything out right before the holidays and are going to do it afterwards so that there is going to be people around to fix any potential breaks in the game. But when that patch actually does come out, what can we expect? Well, I have a few thoughts on it, and I do want to make this clear. This is just my opinion on these. I have no insider information. I have no idea what's actually going to be coming out. This is just going to be spitballing ideas, so do take this with a slight grain of salt. But first off, the big thing is going to be a support nerf. Right now, supports are super strong. They have been this entire season. They buffed them. They are just really ridiculously good. And even running a team of 3 supports is a meta team comp. Now, me personally, I actually really like the support meta. I was already a support player to begin with, so I enjoy having them a little bit stronger, but I understand that not everybody is a fan of this meta, and I do understand that going forward, this meta is not sustainable. It was fun for a little bit, but this isn't the type of meta that everyone is going to enjoy, and I do think that that is also causing issues in the player base retention. Despite my best efforts on here to teach people otherwise, players like to run at fights. They like to just kind of turn their brains off and just push. The support meta doesn't allow that. You have to actually think pushes out. You have to target prioritize. You can't just brainlessly do things. And that is causing issues because people are getting burned by that and they're not enjoying it. And the support that is kind of on the forefront of this is definitely going to be Newcastle. Newcastle has been strong for multiple seasons now, and he's been an absolute powerhouse this season. And even though Newcastle has received some nerfs, he has been able to retain his strength in this role. So come the 7th, I do expect Respawn to hit him with another nerf. What that's going to be exactly, I don't know. Maybe slowing down the speed in which he is able to drag people around when they are knocked, so he's not able to play things as easily, or even making it so that his ultimate wall doesn't have as much health would be a good nerf. There are a few different things that Respawn could do in a few different ways, but I just really hope that they don't do the thing that they have done in the past and just absolutely gut the characters so that they're not playable, because I do enjoy Newcastle. I'm really hoping that the nerf that they hit him with is going to be more along the lines of what they did to Bangalore, which is nerf them to the point where they're still playable, but they're not just the absolute S tier must-have pick. But another legend that could be receiving some nerfs is going to be Lifeline. Now, the Lifeline Reborn rework is really strong. She is in a much better position than she has been in the past. But again, this is causing some issues because of the support meta. Now, is there anything that they could specifically do to Lifeline in order to nerf her? I don't think so, because me personally, I don't think anywhere outside of this one support meta she's that strong of a character. Her Halo's good, it's not broken. Her Doctrine, good, not broken. Her Revive, good, not broken. She's a good balanced character, but when you pair them up with a Gibraltar or a Newcastle and you just have the Lifeline Revive going constantly in a safe spot, that's when it starts to get broken. But Respawn has had trends in the past of them nerfing the wrong characters in meta and taking them just down even more pegs. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous that we might get a lifeline nerf. But on the flip side of things, we might be getting some buffs as well. And I think they are going to potentially try to buff the skirmisher class. Now, I don't necessarily mean that they're going to be buffing skirmishers across the board like they did with the supports going into this season. What I mean is I do think that they are going to be buffing some specific skirmishers to bring them back into the meta, because right now a viable team comp is 3 supports, and I don't think Respawn wants to keep that around. I think they want to bring back the dedicated entry fragger role, which was what most skirmishers were known for. I personally would love to see a Wraith buff. One of my favorite metas was the Wraith Path Watson meta, so if we could see that kind of return in some form, I would be super excited. But I think that Respawn is going to give skirmishers a few more tools so that people are starting to pick them over the supports, and if the supports are also getting nerfed, it's going to give a little bit more incentive to start picking up these older team comps. But again, like I said, I have no idea what the actual changes are, so this is just me spitballing, so I can't really go into more detail about which skirmisher is going to get buffed in these kind of situations, because a skirmisher buff might not even happen. But another change that is probably going to happen is going to be a shotgun change. Shotguns are super strong right now. You can run any of the shotguns and be perfectly fine, and you are almost kind of forced to run a shotgun because of the bubble fight meta that is going on. If you don't have a Mastiff or an Eva, you are at a pretty big disadvantage in these up close fights. So with that, I think one of two things is going to happen. Either we are going to see a nerf to something like the Mastiff's damage to bring it down a peg and kind of allow more diversity, or we are going to see an SMG buff to bring them a little bit back into the meta and make it so that you can just absolutely shred a support character before they're able to get the bubble down, or kind of force them to play around you a little bit more. Something like the Car or the Volt, I could definitely see getting a damage buff slightly increased so that you are able to play around that a little bit better. But shotguns are kind of king right now, and that's not something that Respawn likes to have around in the meta for a long time. They usually do try to change up the weapons a little bit each season. And the last thing I want to talk about is the gold knockdown, because the gold knockdown has been removed from the game for a few weeks now, and a lot of people are asking for it back because they want that boost to their team's potential. But the gold knockdown paired with the supports was just way too strong, and especially in late game when you are getting the gold bins, it was just way too easy to find in those heal off situations in the final zone, way too strong of an item. So I am glad that they did remove that from the game for the short time that it has taken to kind of balance it, but I do expect them to bring it back on the 7th. Now, what those changes are exactly is still unknown, but my theory does involve the supports, and I wanted to talk about this here and not with the supports because it kind of goes hand in hand with this one. I think they might nerf the supports by taking the health regen off of their revive and putting that onto the gold knockdown instead. The gold knock would not be nearly as strong as it has been in the past if the health regeneration was gradual and over time instead of instantly 50 health, 50 shields. If you got revived at normal health and after a short delay of being revived, you started to regen that health that the gold knockdown used to give, that would be a much more balanced item in my opinion. Because instead of getting up instantly ready to fight, you have to have that short period of time to actually regen the health where you're able to pop a shield cell or a battery or do something else while your team is fighting so that you're still out of the fight. There still is some consequences to you going down, but it's not nearly as bad because your loot is a little bit better. That is just my theory on the gold knockdown though, but let me know, what do you guys think is going to be changed on the January 7th update? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming. I'll see you guys in the next one.